good morning to all my lovely students out there. I welcome you all for today's English class. Today's date is 18th of November 2020, and we are dealing with lesson number 11, Adventures with the Fairies. Remember, students, in our previous class, we have done the word meanings and also we have read the lesson. So, what is our learning outcome for today's class? By the end of today's class, each one of you will be able to summarize the story in your own words, and also you'll be able to appreciate the beauty of nature and know the joy which the monsoon season brings along. So, let's start, students. Let us see and recall back the different word meanings which we have seen in our previous class. The first one was drift off, which meant to fall asleep, right? Damp, which means slightly wet, slightly wet. Soaring means flying high. Wander, that is to move from one particular place without any direction, just as to move about, that is to roam about in the blink of an eye, that means very quickly, very fast, very quick. Palette, we have seen in our last class that palette is what? It is a place to mix colors, a plate used to mix colors. Stunned, stunned means to be taken by great surprise. And also, we had seen the word speechless, that means not able to speak because of sudden surprise, falling short of words to express oneself. And nibble means to take small bites, right, students? Now, students, this lesson which we are going to undertake today, it talks about the different seasons. A year has how many seasons? In a year, we come across basically four different seasons, right? So let us see the seasons and months. So spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Spring seasons fall under the month of March, April, and May, and summer, June, July, August, right? Autumn, September, October, November, and winter, we are in the month, approaching the month of winter, that is December, January, and February. So this in this particular lesson, students, we come across the monsoon season, which falls under the beginning of June and lasts till September or October. That is the rainy season. Okay. So, as I've already told you, students, the lesson is lesson number 11, Adventures with the Fairies. So, if you have your English textbook with you, I would request each one of you to open lesson number 10, page number 10, lesson number 11, Adventures with the Fairies. Okay, page number 10 of your English textbook part 2. So, here we go, students. What I'm about to tell you happened a long, long time ago. I was staying with my auntie Nalini. She lived in an old house with a big garden that had many flowers. So this story here, the author says that what I'm going to narrate you, what I'm going to tell you, it happened long time ago when I stayed with my auntie, not with my parents, rather with my auntie, and the name of the auntie was Nalini, and she had an old house, okay, but then there was a big beautiful garden outside the house which had wonderful flowers. I loved staying with her. I used to play in her garden in the mornings and then help her cook. So why this particular author or the boy loves staying with Aunt Nalini? Because he loved playing outside in the garden, and also he would help Auntie Nalini to cook, okay? Do small household chores and help her in cooking. Most important of all, I could have breakfast in bed. So, most important of all the other things, why he loved staying there was that because he could have breakfast in the bed. No, most of us, our parents would never allow us to do that. They would ask us to sit in the dining table and have our breakfast properly, right? But here, Auntie Nalini was very liberal. She would allow him to take breakfast in the bed. I slept on a sofa which was placed against the wall in her bedroom. So this particular boy, he slept in a sofa, a big sofa, since maybe there was a shortage of bed. So he slept in the sofa, which was placed on the wall. Let us see further. As I would drift off to sleep every night, I would stare at this big damp stain on the wall. Okay, the sofa was joined on the wall so that he would not, while sleeping, he would not fall down. Okay, and also as he would he doze off to sleep, here we have come across the word drift off. That means to fall asleep, right? So every night when he would be on the sofa to sleep, he would look on the particular wall, okay? And that wall was damp. Damp. Damp means slightly wet because of the rain, and then there were stains. Sometimes when in the rainy season, the roof of the house, sometimes it leaks, no? And then the water comes and the wall becomes a bit damp, and there comes different shapes because of the stain which the water brings, right? I have shown you the pictures as well. The stain would take different shapes each night, animals, people, fairies. So, when you observe at that stain, what does this boy observe? Saw that the stain would every night take what the damn stain would take different shapes. The shape of animals, sometimes people, fairies. Students, have you ever seen the clouds in the sky? Yes, you have tried to observe that sometimes the cloud forms different shapes, no? And we feel that like the cloud is in the shape of a clown or animals, right? When we observe it. So was the case with this boy. Whenever he would look there, he would find that this damn stain would form different features, different shapes, shapes of animals, people, and fairies. One rainy night, something very strange happened. So, obviously, we know he's talking about the monsoon season rainy night, right? That's why the wall is damp with stain. So one very rainy night, what happened was something strange happened. I saw something come out of the wall suddenly. It looked like a human figure made of cotton, except that it was dark as the thunder clouds. So what did the little boy saw? He saw that something came out of the wall. Okay, and it looked like a human figure. But then it was made of cotton, but one peculiar thing about that figure was that it was very dark as the thunderclouds. Okay, I felt a human figure touch my shoulder. So that moment, he felt that a human figure touch his shoulder. I looked closely and saw a beautiful woman. So when he tried to see who touched him on his shoulder, he saw that it was a beautiful woman. Okay. In a deep, sweet, kind voice, she said, "Good evening. My name is Tom." So, who is this beautiful lady? She came and then, with a very deep, sweet, kind voice, she wished him good evening. And she said that my name is Storm. Don't be afraid of me. I'm a good fairy. Want to come with me? So she said, "Don't be afraid. I'm not going to hurt you. I am a good fairy, okay? Would you like to come with me?" She offered him, "Would you like to come with me?" She offered me her hand. It was a slim hand and smelled of raindrops, okay? Now, when she offered her hand to that particular boy, it was a very slim hand, okay? And the smell which the hand was made was of raindrops. The smell was that of the raindrops. I was so surprised that I could not answer. So he was very surprised at this moment. He could not answer, he could not utter a word. "Come along, you will love the place I'm taking you to." So she said, "Come along with me, you will love the place I'm taking you to." said the fairy. The next thing I knew, I had been carried by her from the warmth of my bed and transported through the bedroom wall through the middle of that damp stain. So, what was the next thing that had happened? He he remembered or he recalled back that he was being carried or transported from the warmth of his bed during the monsoon season, rainy season. What do we like to do? We feel a bit chill, no, cold. We feel a bit chilly, cold, so we try to make ourselves warm, right? So this boy also, what he felt was he was on his bed sleeping, no, he could feel the warmth of his bed. But suddenly, as soon as the good fairy, that is Tom, he asked her to come along with her. What happened was that he was being transported from the warmth of his bed to directly from the warmth of his bed through the middle of the dam stain to another place. And what is the place? How is the place? Let us see the description of the place. We moved up soaring high. So they are like birds flying. Soaring means flying high, no? So both the fairy and this little boy, like they became like birds flying high, right from the damp of his, right from the room, the damp room, to transported to another place, soaring high. As we flew faster and faster towards the sky, we wandered through the air as the lightning struck and the thunder roared behind us. So they were soaring high, faster and faster towards the sky. And as they wandered, they roam about in the sky, they saw the lightning, the thunder roared behind them. Okay, the lightning, the sound of the lightning and thunder, right? The thunder. But I wasn't scared at all. But he's saying that even though it was lightning and thunder going on, I was not scared at all. Okay, so students, as you read across, as we are trying to understand, it is the author is experiencing which season? Experiencing the monsoon or the rainy season, right? The damp wall, and also storm, that is the good fairy, the storm. Now what is being talked about? Lightning and thunder, right? All these we experience in the monsoon season or the rainy season, right? I felt confident as I held onto Storm's hand. The rain seemed to come in waves, softly murmuring through the sky. So, as they were there flying high, and he caught hold of Storm's hand, the rain seemed to come. Okay, after thunder and lightning, the rain seemed to come in waves, in different waves, softly murmuring through the sky. Storm smiled at me as we went up higher and higher. Then, just as smoothly as we had ascended, we began to float back downwards. Now, Storm smiled at him and was just seeing what was his reaction, how was he feeling, and he was smiling back to Storm and then enjoying. And as they had ascended upwards, so slowly, gradually, they descended. That means they went up high and high up. Sorry. Now this is the time they are trying to come back down. Okay, descending. Okay. We descended through a fog and went towards an area filled with light. So as they descended, they went through a foggy area. They went through a fog, like the mist, the fog, when sometimes we have in early in the morning, right? We see the fog and nothing is that visible in the fog, no? So here they came across through an area, to a place where it was very foggy, and then all of a sudden they reached a place which was filled with light. In the blink of an eye, we were bathed in sunlight, and around us were seven fairies. So, in the blink of an eye means at a moment, very quickly, suddenly, in a moment, what happened? They were in a place where it was filled with sunlight, and there he saw seven fairies. Right, student? As he is narrating the story, we come across the as the author is narrating the story, we come to know that he is describing the monsoon season. Right now, he is also talking about how all of a sudden there is rain, thunder, lightning, the day becomes foggy, and all of a sudden there is bright sunshine, right, in the monsoon season. Each was just as beautiful and kind as Tom. They all smiled at me. Now he was surprised to see that there were seven fairies, and each of the fairies were very, very beautiful. Okay, very beautiful and also very kind, just like the fairy Storm. And each of them smiled at him. The fairies had thin golden paint brushes in one hand and a painter's palette in the other. But there was something peculiar about the fairies. What was the peculiarity? Each of them had a paintbrush in one hand and a painter's palette. That is, we have discussed this, no? That is a plate where colors are being mixed, right? So they are he had each fairy had a painter's palette in their hand. In one hand, the painter's palette, and then the other hand was a paintbrush. Suddenly the fog cleared, and underneath it appeared flowers, plants, animals, and many more things. So suddenly what happened? The fog disappeared, and just below that, underneath were what? There were beautiful flowers and also plants, animals, and many more beautiful things. But strangely, each one of them was completely colorless. But one thing which the author observed was that when he saw each of them was colorless, there were beautiful flowers, there were animals and plants, but each of them were colorless. So, what happens next? Let us see. The seven fairies floated towards the flowers, plants, and the animals. Slowly, they started to create magic with their paint brushes. What a scene it was! So, all of a sudden, this seven fairies they ran towards the flowers, the plants, and the animals. Slowly, they started to create magic with that paintbrush, right? And then, what a wonderful scene it was. Here, the author wants to say that yes, there is joy, there is beauty in the monsoon season, which the monsoon season brings, right? After the fresh rain, it gives strength. No, rain is so important. It gives strength to animals, right? To the beautiful colors, to the flowers, plants, because we need water, we need rain, no? So here he saw that each of the seven fairies were creating a magic. Okay. I was so stunned by all this that I was left speechless. That means he was so surprised to the extent that he falls short of words to express himself. Okay. But an even bigger surprise was in store. I looked back at the path and saw a lovely rainbow. So he said that above all these, there was a greater surprise. And what was the surprise? When I looked back, I saw a beautiful rainbow. Yes, students, rainbows you don't see in any other season. You would see a rainbow after a rainy day on the monsoon season, the beautiful rainbow with the seven colors, right? And we all enjoy seeing a rainbow. One of the fairies started to play an instrument. I had never heard such sweet music in my life. So, one of the fairies, when the rainbow was displayed in the sky, one of the fairies started to play an instrument, and he had never heard such sweet, melodious music in his life. So, what did the author try to do? I danced, sang, and clapped along with them. Okay. So, what did he do? He danced and he also sang. Okay, he started singing, he started dancing, started clapping his hands along with them. I wanted to ask so many questions to the fairies. So he said that at that very moment, I was enjoying so much that I wanted to ask many things to the fairies, right? As I opened my mouth, I suddenly heard Nalini auntie's voice saying, "So now you have started singing in your sleep, have you?" So as he was about to ask question to the fairies, when he opened his mouth, suddenly he heard Nalini auntie's voice. Okay, he heard her voice saying that, "Oh, beta, now you have started singing in your sleep as well." Okay, have you? She's asking him. Have you started singing in your dream as well? I think you need a good breakfast. Come on, I will bring you some hot milk and your favorite puri with aloo sabzi. Now, auntie is saying that I think you need a good breakfast. I'll bring you a hot cup of milk along with what? Along with your favorite breakfast, that is puri and aloo sabzi. Okay. As I nibbled on my breakfast, nibbled means taking small bites on my breakfast, I kept thinking whether I should tell her what I had seen. So he was thinking as he was having his breakfast, he was thinking that should he tell Nalini auntie about his dream? Would she believe me? Then she suddenly asks, "So, did you enjoy your journey to the damn stain?" So, before he could say that, he was in a dilemma, no? He was not able to express himself, and he was thinking that, should I tell her what I have seen? Was it real? Or would she believe me? And before he could ask her, what did Nalini auntie said that, "Did you enjoy last night? And did you have a nice journey through the damn stain that is because on the wall, that is the damn stain on the wall? My breakfast was getting cold. I was also going to be late for school." So he was having his breakfast, it was getting cold, and he was also getting late to go to school. I didn't have time to answer her. So he didn't get enough time to answer Nalini auntie's question. Anyhow, I still believe that whenever it rains, Storm and her friends come to visit us. Okay, now he said that anyhow, I somehow still believe right now also that whenever it rains, that is, whenever there is a monsoon season, Storm and her friends, that were the fairies, would come and visit him. They leave everything look bright, fresh, and new, right? After he said that after the rain, everything seems to be very bright, fresh, and new. Yes, students, I think I have observed, and so have you, that after the monsoon season, like in the monsoon season, after the rain, we see, the beautiful rainbow, and we see the flowers, it's all wet, it looks more bright, no? And everything looks very fresh and wonderful, right? And we all enjoy the rainy season as well, no? And this story is all about that. This story gives us a lesson that we should observe the nature around us, right, students? God has given us a wonderful earth on which we live, and there are so many natural things here, right? Man-made things are there, but it does not give us that joy and happiness. But when we observe our Mother Earth, the flowing rivers, the wonderful birds chirping, right? The fruit trees which provides us different fruits, the different seasons, right? Here in this story we come across the monsoon season, which brings what? Which brings rain, which is so important for all of us, not just for us, but even for the animals, the birds, the plants, right? And along with it comes what? It brings freshness. joy. And I still remember, I loved getting wet outside, no, in the rain, and then we would love to make paper boats and float it, right? We all have done that. So we should actually observe the beauty of nature and try to appreciate it, no? There are four different seasons, and all the four different seasons brings four different joys in our life. Different joys. During the winter season, we wear warm clothes, we have coffee, hot things, na? And during the summer seasons, we feel very hot, we on the fan, we take often baths, ice cream, and there are many wonderful things. Each season has its own joy and beauty, so we need to appreciate it. We need to observe the nature which God has created for us. We need to also take care of the nature, right? And we need to love it and also appreciate the beauty which each season brings. So, with that note, we come to the end of today's class, students. So, I shall see you all in my next class. So, till then, take care, stay safe and healthy, keep smiling, keep learning. Bye bye.